All right, call me insane, call me crazy, call me an absolute nutcase. Call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for my dinner. Dad jokes. But anyway, I bought this Xbox Series X off eBay for £140. And honestly, I'm beginning to regret it. And I haven't even looked at it yet in terms of seeing what's wrong with it. So it was listed on eBay as spares and repairs, obviously. It looks like it's got some sort of plaster or something inside it. So the only thing I can think is maybe it got thrown out while a house was being renovated. Either that or someone maliciously done something to it. I don't know. But hopefully we can fix it. It's a lot of money to basically just waste. Yeah, I've really got nothing else to say to it. Look at it. Or to it. Well, I'm not the console whisperer. But yeah, it's a little bit messed up. The back is all mangled. There's something rattling around inside it. I'm sure you can hear that. I honestly have no idea. But for some reason, while I was on holiday, I decided, oh, that'd make an interesting video. Let's just waste £140 on that. Plus the shipping costs. Plus then I've got to waste money on paint and body filler and sandpaper and everything else. But hopefully it makes an interesting video. If you are new to the channel and you like this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. That way you don't miss any future videos. If you do want to support me in these insane endeavours, then you can check out my Twitch page. You can subscribe on Twitch using Amazon Prime. If you've got an Amazon Prime account, it doesn't cost you anything, just a couple of minutes of your time. You can also check out some of the support links in the video description as well. And if you do want to send in a console for repair, check out the link in the video description where you can learn more about sending it in as well. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. This video probably still would have been here without today's sponsor. But hey, it's time to show something, right? So here goes. Here at the Coded Productions, we love nothing more than to take as much money from you, the viewer, as we possibly can. Which is why we're proud to talk to you about consolefix.shop. A great place for you to spend your hard-earned cash. I mean, yeah, fair enough. You get parts and supplies that help you fix things, but you've got to give me some money in return. Nothing in life's free, and if you pay me for it, you might appreciate it more. Or not, hey, I'm not judging. With that being said, we do have some pretty cool stuff on the shelves, including power supplies, HDMI ports, charging chips, MOSFETs, and whatever else you can think of that'll give you the illusion that you're getting a good deal. So head on over to the online store by clicking on the link in the video description, and if there's one thing I can guarantee, is that there will be a way for me to take your money. Console Fix, your friendly money grabbing YouTuber. Alright, so let's look at this side first. You can very visibly see that this is a little bit battered. The only thing I can think of with this is that it's been obviously dumped in a skip somewhere. So, you know, maybe someone's been decorating, they've dumped it in a skip, or they've got plaster inside it while they're decorating because they didn't move it. That would be a little bit foolish. But, yeah, I don't know. But it looks like someone's dumped it, and then someone's probably salvaged it. That's my theory anyway. I don't think it's going to make a difference if we destroy this sticker to get it off. So I think what I'm going to do first, I'm going to try turning it on, but I think one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it down, try and fix the board and stuff, because I've got a housing that I could use if I can't restore this housing. You know, I can use, you know, the body filler and stuff like that, but is it going to work? I don't know. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff. So let's just plug it in. Let's just go balls to the wall. Why not? Oh wow, there's really something falling around inside, isn't there? I mean, yeah, it doesn't turn on, but I think that's probably pretty obvious. So yeah, let's get it apart and see what the deal is with it, shall we? Oh God, I'm not looking forward to this. Wow. This is going to make a bit of a mess. It's actually stuck as well, wow. Jeez. Okay. Oh no. Oh, really? Wow. Alright, well I think it's safe to say the heatsink's a little bit wamboozled, and look at that. I think I'm going to get some gloves on. There we go. So, yeah, this is very, very damaged. I'm not going to be able to save that back. Even if I could, you know, fill some of this in, it's all indented here as well. So I don't think I'm going to be able to save that, to be honest with you. But never mind. Hopefully there's at least some salvageable parts on this, because, yeah, it's a fair bit of money. So let's just try and get this apart without making too much of a mess. Don't know if I'm going to be able to save that fan. Oh, wow, it's actually stuck in there. Yeah, I didn't really think this through, did I? Like, it's wedged in there. I didn't really think this through in terms of mess. Should have probably put something else down. On the plus side, the fan still spins, so I can probably clean that up. I mean, this comes apart in 2 sections, so there's some screws here. I mean, that's caked in plaster, but this comes apart in 2 sections, so I might be able to split that and, you know, give it a bath or something. I don't know. I think the plaster should come off fairly easily. It should break off. It's only plastic that it's stuck to, so it's not like it's going to bond permanently. I'm trying to stop it from making as much mess as I possibly can. I'm going to need to do some clean up here, like immediately. So let's just see if anything got inside this disk drive, and more importantly, did we get a free game as well? If we got a free game, then it's all worth it. See, this is why I don't wear gloves. Look at that already. My hand's sweating. People ask me all the time why I don't wear gloves while I'm doing repairs. That's why. Yes, we got a free game. Oh yes, get in. All right, let's get that out. Haha, winner, winner. Forza 5. Sweet. Oh, it's knackered. Damn it. It's all scratched up. Probably from when I just removed it. Oh, it's not even any good as a test game. You son of a... I mean, if you look at the laser there, yeah, it looks like it's all gunked up and stuff. Nothing on that is worth saving. The only thing that I'm going to be saving off this is this board, because it's got the chip that's paired to the board, to the main board. So that is all scrap, unfortunately. All right, onto the console itself. So the first thing I'm going to do then is just take off this top plate and just have a look at the board underneath. Hopefully it's not completely wamboozled. Okay, let's get rid of that. That I think is completely knackered. Oh no. It's all over it, isn't it? Well, that sucks. Hopefully it didn't damage the board, but we'll see. Oh. That board's knackered. Alright. Let's continue stripping it down. Yeah, a lot of these screws are rusted as well. Wow, that was actually stuck. Actually, you know what? With a bit of cleaning, I don't think this board would be too bad. Yeah, with a bit of cleaning, I think I could clean that board up. Best case scenario here is that it's just blown a component, or, you know, the power supply itself is gone. Ooh. That plate is reusable, by the way. You know, it's just aluminium. I can literally just wash that and it'll be absolutely fine. Okay. Please be good, please be good, please be good. Okay. That's not good. I actually thought it was, and then I've just seen the screw and what's around the SSD. Oh no. Alright, well, might need to do some work to that SSD. Let's have a look at that under this microscope before I go any further. Right, okay, yeah. A few very damaged components there on that SSD. I think I'm going to need to do a chip swap on the SSD, because that board is just too far gone. We've got damage around the power management area, damage around the controller, some damage to some components. So there's 2 BGA chips which are obviously corroded, and then you've got the main chip itself as well. So I think I'm going to need to do a chip off swap here to get that working. So maybe do that for another video. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've just realised it's out of focus. My bad. So I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to get done in this video. You know, it's probably going to have to be a multi-part video. There's a lot wrong here. So this might be just initial assessment maybe, and then continue it in another video. But I think what I might have to do is get some ultrasonic cleaning fluid. Rather than putting it in the ultrasonic cleaner, I might put it into, you know, for example, put some ultrasonic cleaning fluid with some warm water into my sink, give it a really good scrub, and then put it in the ultrasonic cleaner once I've inspected it further, once the plaster's been taken off it and stuff. But first I want to see if this power supply works, because I want to find out where the actual issue is. I don't want to just assume it's a board issue when it could just be as simple as a power supply issue. So let's have a look at that first. So if we go for the multimeter here, because I haven't got it set up on the screen and I'm too lazy to do it now, I've got the power supply plugged in. I'm in voltage mode on the multimeter, as you can see, and I get no output on the power supply at all. 0.52 volts on that. How about the other connector for the power supply? Absolutely the same. All right, well, the power supply is definitely faulty. So I think what I should do is probably, well, first of all, let's just take this board out, because I'm going to need to clean them up. Let's have a look. Let's go a little bit further, shall we? No, I'm not looking forward to this. I was hoping that these boards would be protected, but evidently not. Wow. Okay, it's actually fairly clean on this side, you know, relative to the rest of the board. So there's definitely going to be some salvageable parts on this. You know, we can take things like the RAM, the MOSFETs and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, when you tally up all of the components, yes, it will be time consuming, but you've got, for example, 9 MOSFETs there, and then you've got another, like, what is it, 8 or 9 MOSFETs there. So just that alone is like, what, I don't know, £80 worth of MOSFETs just on those alone. On top of that, you've got the ESD IC, that's another £40. You've got the HDMI encoder, if it's good, that's another £40. That's really all you've got in terms of salvageable parts on this side, apart from the RAM, which honestly people never seem to buy. You've got a few chips here and there, but then on the Southbridge board as well, like, I'd make my money back just by stripping that board down. But then on top of that, you've got the Southbridge, which looks to be in relatively good condition. So I wouldn't sell that. I'd probably use it for myself because it's a BGA chip. So I'd probably save it until I get a Southbridge repair in. But that is, you know, a £60 chip. You've got other things on here as well, which are obviously salvageable, like these chips here. You know, there's definitely money to be made here, even though it looks as bad as it does. So yeah, I think I'm going to switch over to my phone camera, and I'm going to get these in some ultrasonic cleaning fluid. Probably going to need to replace these connectors as well, to be honest. Okay, so I've got some warm water here. I'm in my bathroom because, yeah, the kitchen sink, I haven't done the washing up, so yeah. Lazy technician, lazy husband. Not even a husband, but hey ho, never mind. So I've got some warm water, and I've also got some ultrasonic cleaning fluid. So this is pre-mixed, but it's only for an initial clean, so it doesn't really matter. I obviously don't recommend using normal water, you know, tap water. Why is there a thing in there? Anyway, I don't recommend using tap water, but you can technically use tap water as long as you make sure it's fully dry before you actually do anything. So I'm going to leave these in here to soak for a bit. Obviously, I've only got one hand, so I'm going to have to put my phone down, but I am going to give them a really gentle scrub for probably, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour or something, and try and get as much of this off as I possibly can. But I think I need to leave it to soak as well.
But yeah, I'm going to try and get as much of this off as I possibly can. I can't film this bit because, like I said, I've only got one hand free here, and I need two. And also, I haven't got a tripod for my phone, and I'm not unrouting my normal cameras. So I'm going to give this a real good scrub, and hopefully it'll look pretty much brand new when it's finished. Alright, so I've left these to soak for a little while, and then I've basically just given them a really good scrub with a nail brush. Fingernail brush. It's what I use to clean my nails. That's why my nails are, for the most part, usually clean. But yeah, they've actually come up really well. Like I said, I don't recommend using normal water for this, but as long as you leave it to thoroughly dry out. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to bake the boards in the oven for like 12 hours or whatever. So I'll probably put them on like 100 degrees Celsius and bake them in the oven just to make sure there's no moisture inside the chips or anything like that. Give them a real good baking before I actually try and pair them on or anything. But they have come out really, really good. So yeah, not bad at all. I don't see any burn marks, but obviously we'll know more when I look at them under the microscope. This has got proper ultrasonic cleaning fluid, Allendale ultrasonic cleaning fluid. I said it on consolefix.shop in pure form. But yeah, it's come up really good. Hopefully the boards actually work and there's nothing wrong with them. But we'll see. But they do look really, really good compared to what they did look like. Yeah. Quite a bit of plaster there, isn't there? So let's get rid of that before the missus goes mad at me. She'll kill me if she sees me doing this in here. Never mind. I'm going to rinse these off as well with clean water. Again, not recommended, I know. To be honest, I'll probably never sell this console if I get it working. I don't think I can. Don't think I can justify it. Drippy drippy. And that one. Bet this is the first time you're going to see people doing this on a video. There we go. Beautiful. Right, okay, so I've put my oven on gas mark 2 and I'm going to leave these in here for a few hours. I mean, it's almost 8 PM, so I'm going to be up for at least another 4 to 5 hours. So what I'll do is I'll put these on, I'll leave these on like gas mark 2 for a few hours until I go to bed. Then I'll turn them round, I'll leave them, overnight, and then obviously tomorrow when I get up, I'll put them on for a few more hours. I really don't want to put these too high. I'm thinking actually gas mark 1. Yeah, I'll put it on gas mark 1, stuff it. So yeah, I'm going to leave these to bake in the oven just to get rid of any moisture that's on the board or anything like that. Obviously I don't want to pair these on if there's moisture because it'll just pop the chips. So yeah, there they are, nicely cooking away, and I'll pick it up once I've actually baked these properly.
Right we are, it's been 3 days now, so it's been a clear 72 hours since I washed these with water. I know that's a little bit unorthodox, but didn't really want to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner because it's just going to end up gunking up a load of ultrasonic cleaning fluid, and that's pretty expensive. So what I've done instead is obviously washed them in water with some ultrasonic cleaning fluid, but obviously a little bit less than what I would have in the cleaner. But basically what I've done is wash these with water and then I put them in the oven for 12 hours on, I don't know what temperature, but it was on gas mark 1, so whatever temperature gas mark 1 is. And yeah, you might think that's a little bit strange, but trust me, it's perfectly safe to do it as long as you monitoring the temperature, or as long as you've got it on a really low setting. So the reason that I did that was to obviously dry off the boards, and then I've also left it a further 72 hours, well, more or less 3 days since I actually took them out of the oven. So that's giving it more than enough time to actually dry. What you're supposed to do when you buy brand new ICs and stuff, you're supposed to bake them in a reflow oven anyway, which is basically just a normal oven. So, except the temperature is probably a little bit more controlled in a reflow oven. But that being said, 3 days I've left these to dry. Should be more than enough time for any moisture to be removed from the actual boards themselves. So let's get them back under the bench. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out, considering how bad they actually looked. But you'll see that in a minute. They've come up nice and clean, apart from on the ports, which a little bit of staining on the ports and stuff I'm not really bothered by. So yeah, I'll get them back on the bench. Okay, so as you can see, they've come up nice and clean compared to what they actually look like. I'm really happy. So there's some staining, like I said, on the ports, and there's some staining around about, you know, around the ground plane and stuff, but yeah, that's going to be fairly difficult to get off, and it's not going to affect the actual board itself. I can pretty much guarantee that most of the ports have come up pretty clean. So yeah, I'm fairly happy, but I'm going to inspect the boards under the microscope and just see if there's anything that we're going to need to replace on these. Actually, those ports are not great, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so yeah, these don't look, I'll say they don't look too bad. They're not terrible, some of these connectors, but to be honest, I'm probably going to need to replace these. But the more important thing for me at the minute is making sure that this works before I go replacing connectors. But you know, in general, the board itself has come up fairly clean. Like I said, there's some staining around the outer perimeter, you know, the ground plane, but I'm not really that bothered by that. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but to be honest, I don't intend on selling this. A bit of cleaning that needs doing there. But yeah, I don't intend on selling this this board, or this console rather. I plan to keep it for myself. Because I actually sold my Xbox Series X a couple of months ago to a customer. I couldn't fix his, so I sold it in Part X, because I don't really play it, but you know, if I can get this working for the sake of £140, I'm more than happy. Southbridge looks okay, it's come up nice and clean. It's very important that I get inside there with something, because that's the SSD connector. It's not going to matter short term, but I'm not sure what it'll do long term while it's got power running through it and stuff. MOSFETs and stuff seem okay. So yeah, it's the gaps more than anything, you know, in between components, and obviously underneath ports as well. Yeah, same as the HDMI port. So it's not perfect by any stretch, but it's a lot better than it was. So I think what I'm going to do is just see if it attempts to power on, and if it does attempt to power on, then, you know, I can think about doing the SSD and sorting that out. So I don't really have much in the way of being able to test this at the minute, because the heatsink and everything is still pretty gunked up and stuff, right? So yeah, I think I'm just going to plug this into here, and I know this ribbon needs a clean as well, but the contacts seem okay, so it should be fine. Getting it all over my hands again. But I think I'm just going to jerry-rig this up to be at a point where I can actually see if it powers on. And it's not going to power on without an SSD, but it will turn on and at least stay on for a little while if it works. Let's see if it goes bang, shall we? Okay, APU is getting warm. That's a good sign. Let's have a look, shall we? It turns on. Wow. Alright, well, yeah, there we go. It turns on. That's pretty nuts. So I think now we need to work on the rest of the console and just see what the deal is with it. So I think, before I go any further, because I can always get a test housing to throw this into, you know, throw it inside the test housing with the heatsink and stuff on, not a problem. I don't think I'm going to be able to work on everything in this video because it'll go on for too long, but what I am going to work on is the SSD. And the problem with this is it looks an absolute mess. Let me just see if it's actually going to clean up, because if I can't clean it up, given the amount of components on here, I'll probably end up having to replace the actual PCB. So the problem with this is the fact that there's data on this SSD, on this big chip here, which is paired to the console. Without that, this console will never boot up. So I'm just going to give it a real good scrub and just see how it comes out. Let's just get rid of this viscous paste. I can always put a little bit of viscous paste on it afterwards. It's going to take me a while to clean this up, so I'm just going to do my best and I'll fast forward through it because it's pretty boring stuff. And there we go. That is looking pretty damn freaking good, I must say. Yeah, that looks good. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue with this. Right, okay. Well, I'm happy with how that SSD has come out. So I think it's time to get a test housing together, right? Alright, so I can't find another one of these heatsink plates for a V2 board, so I'm going to have to use this one, unfortunately. It is what it is, I guess. I can always wipe down the boards again afterwards. But it should be fine for now. Let's pair it on, shall we? She turns on. And she boots up. I just got a pulsing light on that. Wow. I can't believe this actually turns on. And it appears to be booting up with that SSD as well, which is great. So let's just plug that in there. I'm going to keep the power supply dangling. So I'll switch to my ugly cam and let's see if it displays on the TV. Oh, it might not. It's on HDMI and it's not displaying. Nope, it's not displaying. So let's look into the HDMI circuit then. So, I mean, it is a little bit, you know, there's a little bit of something on it, but I can't see that being the issue. At least not from this side anyway. Let's just look inside the port and, well, yeah, that would probably explain it, wouldn't it? I guess I should have checked that out. So we're going to need to change this HDMI port. So what I do with these when I need to change a HDMI port, there is a big problem with these. Well, that's splitting anyway, so it is a little bit damaged. But there is a big problem with these, and that's the fact that there's some adhesive on the bottom, you know, underneath the port itself, which glues the port down to the board. And that can be a real pain in the backside. So what I'll do is I'll heat up from this side of the board, and I'll literally go full whack, 480 degrees Celsius, as hot as you like. But what I do tend to do is basically just add some flux to it. So I'm going to preheat the board, and then I'm going to add some flux around here just so as it doesn't damage this chip here. So this ESD chip just here off to the side. So preheat the board a little bit, and then if I just add some flux just there, that's just going to stop it from causing the BGA chip to end up oxidising and damaging the chip. But now I'm just going to heat it up at full whack, and I'm basically just going to let this port drop out. You'll actually find that for the removal process it's probably easier to do it without the microscope, because I need to get a straight angle on the port. So I'll just turn that light off. I'm just going to heat this up until it pretty much just drops out on its own. There we go. So that old port is out. And there we go, that looks good. And yeah, you can see here that we've got some crap all underneath the port itself. This is why I'm a little bit worried about the other ports, because there's going to be crap underneath all of them. Honestly, I didn't expect it to get everywhere like this, but evidently it has. but I really didn't expect that. I expected the ports to be fine. It's amazing where a little bit of plaster can get. So I'm going to give this a good scrub. The one difficult thing is going to be this big port here for the SSD. I don't know if I am going to be able to change that. I mean, it's not through hole, so it's going to be very difficult to get that off. I might have to use the BGA station to get that off. So just give that a real good scrub. That looks good now. I do want to remove this adhesive though. I think I need to warm the board back up for that. So I'm going to warm the board up and I'm going to use a scraper to get that off. There we go, perfect. Right, let's get this solder replaced. I seem to have misplaced my syringe and plunger for the flux tube again. So I'm going to replace this with some leaded solder. That will reduce the melting temperature, and well, to be honest, leaded solder is much better anyway. I use Kester. You can buy this on my online store, consolefix.shop. There we go. What I like to do as well is just use a little bit of hot air just to push this solder through. It just helps the solder to flow right the way through the board. Make sure we've got a nice mix between the lead-free stuff that's on there and the new leaded stuff. There we go. That's perfect. And now what I can do is just heat up from the bottom and drop the port on, and it should go through nicely. So here's the brand new port, and you can see the heat transferring through. You can see the solder starting to flow. And as you might notice, I'm going to start moving the airflow now, or moving the hot air wand. Press down on this port, and then I've just moved the airflow out the way just to let it solidify. Just flip the board over, make sure I've done no damage to the other side. Nope. Perfect. Back on the bench. Let's get rid of that. I'm probably going to have to touch these pins up because you generally do have to on the Series X. Yeah. So they're not quite sitting flat. Well, they are sitting flat, but it's just very difficult to get it to actually push all the way in. So generally you have to just reflow the 19 pins on the back using the soldering iron. So just add some fresh flux. There we go. And press down on the pins as I'm running over with the iron. So I'm using what's called the drag method here, which basically just allows the solder to follow the soldering iron. And then I'll just come in and just run across them normally. There we go. Clean it up, and then I'll double check my work. Make sure we're all good. I can't see any bridges, which is great. And one thing you always want to do is while you're cleaning up the flux that's left on the board, just take my word for it, the flux is going to find its way inside the port. So just give the inside of the port a clean. If you're using a brush or a toothbrush or something like that, just give the inside of the port a clean at the same time. It's going to save you time later on. You may as well do it now and make sure it's done and nice and clean. Beautiful. I'll just double check my work here then. Just give all of these a nudge test. So basically what I'm doing here is just pressing on the pins gently just to make sure that they're all solid. Make sure they're all soldered properly. And they are. Perfect. And yep, there's no bridges there as far as I can tell. That's good. Let's just have a look at the back of the port. Yeah, I could do with touching those pins up a little bit as well. Or those legs rather. And what I tend to do with this is I use hot air for this, as well as the soldering iron. So again, just like with when I was tinning the ground legs, it's just going to help the solder to flow a lot easier. and I decided to be a terrible YouTuber and not get the board in focus. So that's nice. Okay, there we go. Those ground legs look a lot better. Again, while I'm cleaning up, I'm going to clean inside the port again. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, we should be good there. Time to put it back together and test. Remember as well, this is a temporary assembly, so I'm not going to replace the thermal paste again yet. I am going to find this screw out for the SSD though, if I can. There it is. All of these screws are going to have to be replaced, I think, but I might be able to recover them by putting them in some sort of solvent. I don't know. Same as this X-clamp as well, because these are pretty expensive, so I would like to restore this X-clamp if I can. It'll do for now though for testing. And time for the moment of truth. Is it going to give me a display now? One thing I do need to do though is just drop that in some IPA, just because it was all gunked up inside the port. Okay, it turns on. That's good. Means we haven't broken anything. Back to the ugly cam. Is it going to work? Yes. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. Brilliant. Let's get a test controller. And that's the wrong button, isn't it? Damn it. I need a USB. Because there's no way I'm plugging that sync cable in. Or rather, the sync ribbon. Actually, you know what? I probably should get one, shouldn't I? Because I'm going to need to find out whether or not that connector is going to need replacing. So I have got here a Xbox housing. This is one that I've got spare. So I'm going to take this housing out and, or rather I'm going to take the board out of it for the sync button and the front USB and just see if it actually works or not. So let's just shut this down for a minute. There we go. So that's all connected up. Okay, that works. Well, didn't catch fire, should I say. Ha! So let's just see if it syncs. No, it does not. Oh, hold on. It might not have gone in fully. There we go. Okay, it just didn't go in fully. Well, yeah, there we go. So, okay. See if that syncs. Thumbs up. Let's have a look, shall we? Wants to connect to the Xbox network. Okay, I will connect to the Xbox network. That's fine. So I want to know if this is banned, just to see, you know, make 100% sure that it can actually be used. Yeah. Okay. So it's picking up my Wi-Fi. It's picking up my Wi-Fi. Let's just log in. Let's make sure it connects to Wi-Fi. Might start calling it Wi-Fi. There we go. It wants an update. 4.6 gigabytes. Should I update it with no disk drive? No. The only problem is, I'm not going to know whether or not it's banned. So yeah, all it really needs, or all it should need, is the disk drive daughter board. So hopefully this actually works. So technically all I should need is this daughter board and it should update. We'll see. Oh shit. Well, there goes the magic smoke. Oh shit. Holy crap. What the? And that didn't even shut the console off? Really? An actual fire and it didn't shut the console off? Wow, it's just fried the motor controller. Well, this board's fried. Whoops. Didn't expect that, I must admit. That PCB's knackered. But, unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to do that repair in this video, so I'm going to have to make another part. So far, I've managed to replace a HDMI cable, HDMI port, and the console is at least working in terms of it turns on and boots up, which means I know that the SSD is working fine. I know that these two boards are fine, and I can probably use them at least for donor parts if I can't get this disk drive working. But I'm going to have to do a daughterboard swap on the disk drive, because the disk drive is needed for the console to actually update. So in part 2, I will obviously fix this, or try and fix this, and as long as I can fix this, then I'll try and fix the power supply. And then I think I'll make a third video where I try and actually restore the, I don't know why I'm looking down here, I don't even know where the case is, but, oh, it's down here. Yeah, it's this side of me. So yeah, in part 3, I'll try and restore the case. Probably not going to be able to do much with it, honestly, but I do have a banned Xbox Series X, which I bought fairly cheaply. I can't remember how much I paid. I think I paid like £100 or something for it. So I've got a banned console, and it's in really good condition. It's got a lot of usable parts in it. So between the two, I can at least get a fully functional console, as long as I can get that working, and as long as this one isn't banned as well. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch part 2 and potentially part 3 as well. And of course, if you do want to watch any more repair content, maybe consider checking out the first ever Xbox Series X that I bought for myself, which I ended up keeping for just over a year. It's the one that I mentioned earlier on, which I ended up selling to a customer. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye for now.